Hello and welcome back to the ministry. This is Taj McCameron. And Lord, I'm giving you these words to come out my mouth that I say and speak what it is that you are desiring for me to say. Okay. This morning I was just sitting here having my conversations with the Lord like I do. And I was thinking about something. It was something that was bothering me about something. And I was brought to the scripture. And specifically, I was thinking about the story or that segment of the story in the Bible where Elijah has already defeated, am I saying it right? Yeah, he's already defeated the prophets. And he went ahead and prayed for the rain. Now, Ahab is in a chariot, but he's on foot. And while he is on foot, now I have heard scholars say that Elijah fed himself and he ran for 40 days. That's scholars, that's what they say, to get back. But if that was the case, how did he outrun the chariot if he had to run for 40 days? Don't believe everything that you hear. Now, with that being said, coming back, Ahab was in a chariot. Ahab had a vehicle. Ahab was moving in something that had horse power. And he did not outrun Elijah. So I was sitting here thinking to myself about something. A lot of us are driven. A lot of us have a desire in our heart to do something, be something, present something, develop something, create something, and we're driven. But some of us don't have the vehicle, don't have what's necessary to, or viewed to be necessary to get the momentum necessary to get to the finish line. Tortoise versus the hare. The hare is physically capable of outrunning a tortoise. Yes, go back and look at my word, tortoise and hare. Physically capable of outrunning a tortoise. But what's the difference in a person that has a vehicle or is used to running? Let's talk about this. The person that has a vehicle operates in a comfort zone that the person that never had the vehicle doesn't operate in. If you never had the vehicle, you're not going to operate like you got one. You see people all the time that will get a car and never want to walk. They have the luxury of walking, but they're not going to. Why am I going to walk if I got a vehicle? This is something I see happen with my dad all the time. Some of us, we didn't have the luxury of a vehicle. We did not have the luxury of being able to maintain consistency in a vehicle. Some of us had the ability to get in and out of a vehicle. Come on, God, put this word together. Meaning we were able to get in the vehicle, we were able to ride for a period of time, and then we had to get out. But we still got to walk because we don't own no vehicle. So for some of us, we were paced. Ran a little bit, got into somebody else's vehicle. Okay, vehicle took us where we needed to go momentarily, but we had to get back into our walking because we did not own that vehicle. Are you following me? You became a passenger in somebody else's vehicle, yes? You were in the vehicle temporarily. You gained knowledge, you developed in that vehicle, but you still had to get out and get back to your walking because it wasn't your vehicle. You gained wisdom, you gained knowledge from being in the passenger seat of that person's vehicle, but you were not able to continue to operate in that. I was listening to somebody recently, and they made the point of saying this. They knew how to operate the vehicle, but when they felt secure, they moved slower. Think about this in life. Think about this in career. Let's just take that like that. Think about people that you had to fight to get everywhere that you needed to go to develop your career. You know, that strong, independent woman. You had to fight. It was a fight. You had to fight to get there. It's a fight to do this. It's a fight to do that. It's a fight. It's a fight. It's a fight. So when you get your comeuppance, or you get that vehicle, and you find your pacing with that vehicle, you learn how to drive that vehicle. You become comfortable with your vehicle, don't you? That's your vehicle. So once you're comfortable with it, you know, I've heard people say this before, that once you know the rules, you can break them. It's your vehicle. Once you know the rules, you know how to operate and maneuver in that vehicle. You ever see people in their career, they get to a certain level and they start coasting? I got here. I finally got to where I was trying to go. Now I can rest in this place. But you also see other business folks say, I got to still keep grinding, because if I don't keep grinding, people are going to surpass me. But you keep hearing people use this word grind, toil, hustle. And it's that element. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, and this is what I was talking about with the Lord this morning. And I think about the things that the Lord has put me through. And I think to myself, I didn't get the car. Matter of fact, I haven't had a car yet in life. Have I driven one? Yes. I went through the process. I got my learner's permit. And I drove for a period of time. But when it came down to getting the car and the driver's license, it never really came to manifestation. And I used to always wonder why. I was a passenger in the vehicle. I learned what I needed to know about vehicles, but I did not drive it. Meaning, I did not get the license to drive it. But I got the skill set to know how to drive it. Somebody said to me recently, I was making a point of the new Fast and the Furious movie came out. And I knew this person liked to drive. And I made a point of saying, oh, I know you like driving stuff. You probably like this. And the person said to me, I don't need to watch a movie, I drive. And I sat there and I thought about that. And that statement never left my brain. Okay? And I sat there with the Lord this morning, and I was sitting there thinking to myself about the story of Elijah and Ahab's chariot. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, when I think of myself, I'm going to be real transparent with you. I don't know how to run. Have I tried? Absolutely. I'm going to tell you exactly what happens when I physically run. I used to live near a reservoir that I could run around the perimeter of. Most people did. It was like the thing to do. It was like the equivalent of, was it like a mile? Was it a mile, a little over a mile, or either it was a quarter of a mile and you had to go around about 4 times in order to reach a mile. But I would walk that all the time. I got to a point that I would always walk it. And I consistently, follow me, consistently was able to walk that thing, that I was even at a point that I could power walk that. So after that, I was at a place that I could power walk it. So with that, I maintained or gained a level of momentum in consistency that I did not have running it. When I tried to run, I have an old injury from when I was a teenager where I fractured my ankle. When I try to run, even in tennis shoes, my leg gives out. But when I think about it, running is operating at a specific pace in a level of consistency that's immediate. Follow me. Okay? But when you take a walker that walks, then takes the time to do the power walking, then get into jogging, there's a potential that you could end up in a state of running. But you gotta build yourself up for that momentum, right? Right? A person that is not consistent, they will gain momentum. It's like this. Something I used to do when I wanted to get through something quickly when it came down to using my feet. I would walk a quarter, run. Walk a quarter, run. Walk a quarter, run. Meaning I'm moving at a pace that speeds me up, but it's inconsistent. When I was walking, then I learned the power walking, and then I was getting quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. I remember I was watching one of my television shows, and it was a guy who was teaching a young girl how to, it was training, and he was doing basic training, and he told her to walk in a circle. Plant her foot in the center and walk around it. And she needed to do it 500 times. And she said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Just do that." Some of us have been in a season where we've been put to a scenario where we've been building up muscle. Don't nothing look like it's changed. Nothing look like it's shifted. Don't nothing look like there's any momentum behind that. A person walking around in a circle, and it's like, matter of factly, some of us felt like we were walking around in a circle. Kept going, it's like, why am I going around in a circle over and over and over again? I want to be, you watching the person that's driving, and you're like, I need to be over there. You see the person that's running past you, and you're like, I need to be over there. I had a dream one time. Why do you not? I felt like I was running in the opposite direction. I'm like, why am I running in the opposite direction? I thought I was running with the pack. But God doesn't always have you run with the pack that you think that you should be running with. Yes? So getting back to the fact of, I will walk, I will walk, I will walk, then I will power walk. And I think I got to a point that I was jogging. But when I tried to run off of straight running, I caused pain to myself. Hear me with your spiritual ears. See, internally, I know I can run. Internally, I have mindset of a runner. Internally, I know how to do, just like I said, I know how to walk and then run and then walk and then run. So internally, my mind knows how to, I take this amount of stuff, I do it, and I run in it. But I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to have to go back to walking because I can't maintain that pace. But the person that sits and they walk, and then they go from walking to jogging, or walking to power walking, to jogging, to running. What's the difference? They build up momentum. What am I saying? Some of us, the Lord, and I hear a lot of words people say this, the Lord holds you back. The Lord has had you in a slingshot that when he catapults you forward, he's going to surpass those around you. And you've been like, I want to keep up with the pack. Whether it be your mentors, your leaders, the people that you have learned from, the people that you are growing from, the people that you are partnered with, and you're wondering like, I've been in circles. And some of you, remember, just like I drove a vehicle before, I've been in circles before where I was around people. I've been around millionaires before. Football players. I've been around them before. I drove a vehicle before. It's just, I've been in a season where the Lord had me walking, just like that trainer said, walk in that circle. What are you doing? Building up your muscle. Remember the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. It's like, what's this got to do with karate? It's not the karate, it's the consistency. Some of you, God's been teaching consistency. How to consistently move. I've told you before, some of you thought that you needed to either take a leap or jump to get to where you were going, and God had you going up steps or gliding up a path. I've said this before. Why? You ever heard the saying, you ever go somewhere and that your character can't keep you? If you don't get that muscle to maintain the strength to keep moving when you are positioned, you can get there. And just like my foot gave out, my foot will give out. You will give out because your character can't keep you somewhere. But that consistency, the walking in the circles, the cycling through it over and over again, the doing it again and again and again. Every time you had to do it again, you did it quicker. Every time you had to repeat the action, you got better. Every time that I had to walk that walkway, I got faster. I started out it taking a little over an hour for me to walk it. I got down to a point that it took me 20 minutes. I'm going to even say it like this. Elijah outran a chariot. One day I was walking in that park. I was doing my normal routine of my power walk. I had started to go through the process of that power walk. And I was a quarter of the way through. And it looked like a torrential downpour. Follow me with your spiritual ears, okay? The sky turned black on one side while the other side was gray. And I said, I can either turn around and go back, or I can finish what I started. And when I tell you, I power walked the rest of when I tell you, them storm clouds rolled in. I was 2/3 of the way through, could see my end goal. Lightning struck a tree, knocked a huge limb off of it. in front of me. I'm talking about, it was about 40 yards away across the park where I had started, clear over there where I had started at. And I can hear the rain. Come on now, Elijah. I hear the sound of an abundance of rain. I could hear the rain coming. And I'm like, I ain't nowhere near the house right now. But I'm already 2/3 the way through this. I got to get to the end of this and then get up the steps, get across the street to where my house is, and then get in the door. You know I did it. I believe it only started raining torrentially when I got maybe, I think I was just getting in the door because I don't think I got wet. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think I got wet that day. If I did get wet, I was literally like 10 feet from the house, running up the steps. That's about as far away as I was. Coming back to what I was saying, it's the amount of momentum that you built over time, that the person in the vehicle, they became comfortable. The hair became comfortable. They knew how to operate a vehicle, so it made them comfortable. But you was always on your feet. You ever heard a person say you always quick on your feet? You were always on your feet. You always knew how to operate your feet. Look at people with disabilities. Some people say to people, these people got with disabilities, they don't know how to, but look at these mentors. There's a mentor out there right now that's a massive speaker. He ain't got no arms, no legs. Ain't never seen him before. But look at what he's doing. There's a woman who, she has the biggest teeth I've ever seen in my life. I used to call her one of the ugliest people in the world. That woman's making bank off of that today. Sometimes what the Lord will do is he'll have you gain a momentum slowly over time, just like the tortoise that is operating without the vehicle. That when it comes time for you to outrun a chariot, the person that was used to riding in the vehicle, because they know how to ride in a vehicle, they know how to operate the vehicle, they know how to coast, they know how to operate in the momentum of whatever it is that they are doing. They know how to do that when they need to do that. They know that vehicle well, but you know how to walk. You know how to operate. And you have gained the muscle that by the time you get to the speed of that vehicle, catch me with your spiritual ears, that when you can catch up with the chariot, you can outrun it because you have gotten a momentum up on foot that you will be able to maintain it because you ain't have nothing else but your feet this whole time. So you can maintain it consistently. But the person in the vehicle is watching you like, how did you get up here, Elijah? And the last thing I noticed, I was thinking about a moment in a movie, Fast and the Furious, where they were in a race where the two vehicles finally got and caught up with one another. And the guy's thinking, I done caught up with you. Yeah, I done caught up with you. But this guy was moving at a consistent pace. And this guy knew what he was doing. And because he knew what he was doing, he hit the turbo on his vehicle and shot out. Think about it like this. What if a person that has momentum, they then have the ability, because they've been consistent, that when they hit the gas, they shoot off past the vehicle, outrunning the chariot. And this is what came to mind. Two things. First, the woman that when she came out of the wilderness for that 1,260 days, she put on wings as eagles and flew. Next, the fact of the matter that one can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000 to flight. What do you mean? Did Elijah run on his own volition? You and I both know Elijah didn't run on his own volition. It is even in the word that there was a spirit that came on him. You hear a lot of people say that when we are at our weakest, Jesus will carry us. It's a famous image that you see a person walking in the snow and they only see one set of footprints. And the person is complaining about the fact that they had to carry themselves to this point. And the scripture is written that Jesus carried them. God, the Holy Spirit, took over Elijah's feet and gave him the speed necessary, just like turbo in a car, to outrun that chariot. Some of you, God's going to give that to you, but some of you, God's going to align you, and some of it's your God-ordained spouse that's going to line you up to chase 10,000. That's my message.